There are people who say, why won't he show some humility? Why say surviving at the top?
Well, that means a lot of things. Surviving at the top.
I mean, you never say, I made mistakes. Gee, I'm in trouble.
Everybody makes
Things
mistakes,
are bad.
Barbara.
You
I make
haven't
mistakes.
said it.
I make mistakes.
I mean,
Everybody
people
makes
don't
mistakes.
think you show any humility.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that I'm a rather, and you will be surprised, but I can be a rather humble person if I want to be, if I feel I'm in the right environment. You're always guarded. I'm not going to let my guard down because you happen to be asking me questions. You're somebody I know and have a great respect for, but I'm not going to let my guard down because Barbara's here asking me questions.
I can understand that.
Innocence lost and courage found. Tom Cruise.
People say if you don't love America, then get the hell out. Well, I love America.
An Oliver Stone picture, born on the 4th of July.
Free tonight. Another drive to deep right field. Going back is Chester. This is gone. Another home run for Kevin Moss. He is turning him on here in the Bronx as he has just clubbed his 10th homer of the year.
Just watch flesh-eating mothers, and I, Gilbert Gottfried, am calling it a night. But listen, if you tune in next week, we'll be bringing you yet more movies to make you want to disguise your head as a BB target.
I need to see Marley.
We interrupt this program for an NBC News special report. Here is Tom Brokaw.
Good afternoon, everyone. Several developments today as President Saddam Hussein of Iraq plainly is playing for time now. We've just had an announcement from the Iraqi news agency that Saddam Hussein has said that all women and children who are, in his words, guests of that country, hostages in the words of all the other political leaders of the Western nations, that the women and children are now free to leave. This after Saddam Hussein had a meeting on Iraqi television earlier today with several Western families, mostly women and children, in which he delivered a monologue saying that they were there in the interest of peace, that if there is war, many children, including the pretty ones like these, would die.
Who's got more movies, more choice in the month of August? Cinemax, with 152 of the movies you want to see.
Well, for your sake, I hope you're right.
We've got the goods on some totally radical dudes.
I am the lobster. Cuckoo.
Get out!
I think you need a hug.
Eric Roberts and Cheech Marin are in for a rude awakening, part of this month's Cinemania.
Life is trouble. Only death is not.
This month, it's an unforgettable performer in the role of a lifetime. Anthony Quinn is starring as Zorba the Greek. And take a look at the man behind the legend with Crazy About the Movies, Anthony Quinn.
And Coca-Cola bring you the superstar baseball card lineup.
Don Mattingly, Tony Gwynn, Eric Davis.
Every time you buy a meal in the large Coca-Cola Classic at Long John Silver's, you'll get a pack of 5 superstar cards free.
Mark McGruff, Wade Bob.
Collect all 40 only at Long John.
There's a light that shines on every human being. But one. Dark Man, rated R. Starts Friday.
Government standards double the fuel efficiency of gasoline-powered cars. The Reagan administration changed that.
It was essentially a political philosophy that said, leave it to the market.
The free market did find cheap oil abroad. From 27% of our supply in 1985, estimates are this year it's nearly 46%. Americans got used to oil, cheap and plentiful.
If you can afford more, you should buy more. I really couldn't deal with using less gas.
In fact, Americans have gone on an energy tear. The average American burns up far more oil than the citizens of Japan or even Britain.
And that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. So in this year, when I would happily come up here by myself and get inducted to the Hall of Fame, it makes it even more special to have a guy like Joe Morgan, who meant so much to all the ball clubs he played for. So again, my congratulations on just a great career. And
it was a real slow breaking ball by Sanderson that just floated out of his hand and hit him in the back. I don't know if I've ever seen a slow curveball further from the plate. This one broke and hit him in the backside. If this ball doesn't break a little, it goes behind him.
He had so much strided into it. Look at that. That didn't hurt, Dave. Don't give me that. Winfield.
There's a world of adventure just waiting for you.
100% pure natural sugar. A sweetener only nature could make.
Be given the respect you deserve. Call now for the cards that will build the credit you need. There are no hassles and no write-ins. Your application should come within 5 working days. Be on your way to getting the world's most widely used credit cards. It's as easy as picking up your phone. Nearly everyone is accepted. Call for your own Visa or MasterCard. Good credit was never made so easy.
Nothing beats a bird, yeah, nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a bird.
Happened as Vaughn and 3 stage crew members left a performance on Eric Clapton's tour in Wisconsin last night. Clapton was not in the helicopter. All 5 on board were killed. Civil Air Patrol says the chopper hit a ski hill. It was en route to Chicago and crashed near the Alpine Valley Music Theater. Ironically, Vaughn was a last-minute addition to the Clapton tour. He was supposed to start his own European tour next week.
We thank you for coming because you didn't have to come. You could have stayed home and watched Arsenio Hall or something.
Mo Better Blues.
For just a moment, we're going to turn now to Tel Aviv, also under a civil defense alert for missile attack. And there we're going to try to talk with the security chief at the Hilton Hotel in Tel Aviv. Are you there? Yes. Are you there? This is...
What's happening? You don't put a mask?
Yep. This is Lou Dimes in New York. Can you hear me? Is this the Hilton Hotel?
There's a way to get together and to organize your work. And you don't have to look
like a bozo
or a jerk. You can get a flapper. You can get a flipper. You can get a rapper.
You can get a trapper.
Nordic Track was just what I needed to work off stress.
With Nordic Track, I was able to lose weight and still eat regular meals.
Now I've got more pep.
For details on Nordic Track, call 1-800-543-6633. That's 1-800-543-6633.
This week on Discovery Sunday, it rises from the South Sea, a towering mist-covered monolith, shrouded in fear and superstition. Uncover the mysteries hidden above. Dare to climb Devil's Mountain. Then, they once brought distant waters to a parched land. Now they lie in ruin. What was it that destroyed these carefully crafted canals? Find out on the Mysteries of Peru. This week, beginning at 8 Eastern, only on Discovery Sunday.
Yipes, I better help. Tempt your tummy with Honey Nut Cheerios? Wouldn't you rather have the taste of golden honey and crunchy nuts? Part of your complete breakfast.
Don't dishonor them by becoming a slave to heroin, cocaine, and crack. Make no mistake, drug abuse is the new slavery.
We'll be right back! Box of Kool-Aid Cool Pops has mystery berry bars. Your job, guess the flavor. It could be cherry, strawberry, or even cream pops. To help you...
He thinks he's the next champion. He's right about one thing. He's next.
Douglas versus Holyfield for the heavyweight title. It's the moment of truth.
Maybe if there was a club in the neighborhood, things might have been different.
Fact. This year, over 19 billion tax dollars went to families begun by a teenage birth. Support the club that beats the streets.
As we know at this point, U.S. does not know the extent of damage, if any, with these missiles that just landed in Israel. Yes, Lou?
Well, thank you. We have an Israeli spokesman on the telephone, and we're going to go to him to see if we can get some further information, and Wolf will be getting back to you. Yes, are you there?
McDonald's for their picture-perfect meal deal. Now I can get my pictures developed free. My wife thinks it's great because now we have more pictures of the kids. All the kids.
With #1 doctor-recommended Neosporin. Testing shows that Neosporin helps wounds heal faster. Neosporin, for faster healing, it's the one.
See the left-hander Jim Abbott going for the Angels. Scott Sanderson makes the start for the A's.
Watch me trick Fred out of his Cocoa Pebbles.
A time machine. A dancing Baloo, a pouncing Shere Khan, a tumbling King Louie, or slithering Ka the Python. Jungle Book Happy Meal toys at McDonald's. You could wind up with all 4.
Get ready for some totally tubular adventures. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, coming to CBS Saturday.
I can't believe this has happened tonight of all nights. Apparently, if I'm getting my information correct, Shredder has taken control of the stage.
Prism Sports presents Philadelphia Phillies baseball. Live from Veterans Stadium, the Phillies take on the San Francisco Giants.
Thanks for letting me borrow this powerful Camry V6. I think I'll go out and buy one today. I know what you do for me, Toyota.
This whole world's wild at heart and weird on top.
And the world joins forces against Iraq with economic sanctions, backed by a show of military might. The invasion of Kuwait left cars, businesses, and homes damaged and sent people fleeing across the Kuwaiti desert into Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, in Iraq, thousands of people poured into the streets of Baghdad today to show their support for Iraqi President Saddam Hussein. Hussein has called on all Arabs and Muslims to rise up against their pro-Western leaders and launch a holy war against the American-led presence in Saudi Arabia.
MCI. Win a trip to the new Universal Studios Florida, courtesy of Listerine, Listerment, and Efferdent. See Kong's Fury. See Jaws fight. Fly U.S. Air and stay at the Twin Towers Hotel. Look for Listerine, Listerment, and Efferdent sweepstakes details in Sunday, August 19th paper.
I hope the general public understands how inherently dishonest the press in this country is.
As a member of the press, let me try to clear up some of the things which you say are untrue. You write in your book, "My bankers and I worked out a terrific deal that allows me to come out stronger than ever. I see the deal as a great victory, and eventually the rest of the world will too." Being on the verge of bankruptcy, being bailed out by the banks,
Well, you don't have to say on the verge of
skating on thin ice and almost drowning, that's a businessman to be admired?
You say on the verge of bankruptcy, Barbara, and you talk on the verge, and you listen to what people are saying.
I talk to your bankers.
Well, that's fine. And what do they say? I mean, you know, depending on which banker you're talking to, what do they say? The deal I worked out is in the process.
He's the high priest of horror, Stephen King. Just listen to some of these numbers. There are more than 170 million copies of his books in print worldwide. He's one of the most prolific writers ever. He's only 42 years old, but he's already written 30 books and 12 have been made into movies. According to Forbes, he's accumulated a little net worth of $50 million. Add to that a new book contract reportedly worth $30 million more. And it's not bad for a guy who describes his work as the literary equivalent of a Big Mac and fries.
Quotes you as saying to her, "When a man leaves a woman, especially when it was perceived that he is left for a piece of ass, a good one, there are 50% of the population who will love the woman who is left."
I do remember saying that. I don't remember having used those words. It's possible, but I believe that if a man leaves a woman for almost any reason, that particular person, the man, is going to be at a major disadvantage in terms of the public eye. There's no question about it.
giant might.
To sort of start things out, if I may be so bold, Arsenio, I feel that I've watched you long enough that I feel you're incredibly wild at heart, and
I'm gonna die, Joe. I just want you to look at it all. Go back through it, find out why you're here.
Richard Pryor, in the role of his life, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling.
This is MTV News. I'm John Norris. Guitar great Stevie Ray Vaughan was killed early Monday morning in a helicopter crash at Alpine Valley in East Troy, Wisconsin. Vaughan, who would have turned 36 on October 3rd, was leaving the venue after a Sunday night concert there, in which he'd shared the bill with Eric Clapton and Robert Cray. Vaughan's helicopter apparently lost its bearings in heavy fog and crashed into a man-made ski hill.
All right, Gary, so what happens when your team is down 13-1? You plunk somebody on the backside, and that's what Steve Crawford did to Brady Anderson. Come and get him, and he did. And we had a bench-clearing free-for-all, had another one later in the game. Birds lead 13-1 on home runs by Ripken, Horn, and Orsolak. Gary?
How many times have we seen that picture this season? Baseball may have to speak to that during the off-season to just stop that.
What kind of mental midgetry does it take to invent things like that?
Maximum speed contest. Rock and roll and racing meet head on. And you can be there at the Denver Grand Prix. First, dial 1-900-328-2828. Second, if you're one of the 12 winners who passed this qualifying heat, you and a friend will get to the Denver Grand Prix.
I'll collect all your favorite Looney Tunes, starring Bugs Bunny.
Where to hang the painting?
Yeah, well, it all depends on how you use the room.
Well, I use it for just about everything except sleeping.
Oh, then we have to work with 2 rooms.
Right.
Well, of course, the first consideration is you.
Where I would enjoy it the most?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
I could be of more help if I could get to know you better. If that's all right with you.
Oh, it is. It's very much all right.
Watching USA, America's favorite cable network. One of 4 Nintendo Super Mario Brothers 3 toys. A Mario toy that jumps, or an acrobatic little Goomba, a pullback Luigi, or a hopping Koopa Paratroopa. 1 toy with each Happy Meal you buy.
Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, and Tailspin.
Being in the Witness Protection Program may save Vinny's life.
Boom! I just want you to keep your nose clean. Capiche?
You trying to say capiche? Yeah. Well, don't do it, because it hurts my ears when you do it.
But who's going to save the suburbs from Vinny?
You know, it's dangerous for you to be here in the frozen food section.
Why is that?
Because you could melt all this stuff.
The comedy that...
Welcome Home Sweepstakes.
Where do you want the cats?
Brought to you by Sears Brand Central.
Pay-per-view spectacular of the summer circles into your home. Monday night, August 27th, exclusively on pay-per-view. The immortal Hulk Hogan returns to the ring after suffering a near career-ending injury to face the earthquake. World Rock.
Expensive ingredient in your beer isn't something you can see or taste. It's called excise tax, and it already costs this country's beer drinkers over $3 billion a year. Now they want to increase the federal excise tax on your beer, raising its price again. You've already given enough. Now it's time to let them know it. Call 1-800-33-TAXES and tell them to can the beer tax.
You own one of them videotape machines, a VCR?
I have a VCR,
I got a question for you. I got one Christmas, I guess. I got one for Christmas. I didn't have one, and then I got one. And so you know what you can do is you can go into these stores. They have these video stores, and you can go in and you can rent movies. And you can bring them home, and you can watch them right there in the comfort of your own home. And you don't have to worry about waiting in line to get a ticket to go in to see the movie. And the floor is not sticky in your own home, or not supposed to be. Not supposed to be sticky.
Speak for yourself.
So...
reasons why, from Saddam Hussein's point of view, he might have wanted to invade Kuwait. For one thing, modern Iraq never had a decent access to the Persian Gulf. It was the British who drew all of these modern boundaries. In fact,
Sir, 2 cassette tapes, only $19.95. 2 compact discs, just $24.95. Here's how to order.
Credit card and COD customers call toll-free.
Calling all kids, calling all kids. The gangsters and other characters from the Dick Tracy movie are on the loose, and you can catch them on these Cap'n Crunch Dick Tracy door hangers. One of 4 different door hangers.
And the Cubs increased their lead to 10-4. In the bottom of the 6th, Luis Salazar hits this solo home run, his 9th of the year. And through 6 innings, Chicago holds a 10-4 advantage over Montreal.
And that would be the final in this one, as Mike Harkey becomes the first Cubs rookie pitcher to win 10 games since 1972 when Rick Russell did it. Here he...
So it's Couples and Grady, tied atop the leaderboard, 3 in front of Morgan.
Is a special report from ABC News.
In the life of a nation, we're called upon to define who we are and what we believe. Sometimes these choices are not easy. But today, as president, I ask for your support in a decision I've made to stand up for what's right and condemn what's wrong, all in the cause of peace.
That's why there's the Spiegel catalog. It's filled with looks you love. Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Liz Claiborne. And you can order 24 hours a day. We deliver to your home or office and pick up returns at no cost to you. For your new Spiegel catalog, call this toll-free number.
The beauty of it is, it's puns.
Felicia has one thing in mind.
What's that? Romance.
So listen without prejudice really means listen with an open mind.
Senior, a career .296 hitter. And a base hit in his first time up as a Mariner.
From Megadeth, welcome to the Headbangers Ball. Videos tonight from Def Leppard, Doro, Trouble, Van Halen, New Suicidal Tendencies, and us.
Plus, believe it or not, a world premiere from Striper. And you'll see the...
Guys, I just found the turtles. They're down in the basement. They're there. They haven't run away. They're there. But I don't know what I'm going to do. How do you use this thing? Does anybody know how to... Is that it? You what? That? Oh, okay. All right, great. Well, I found the...
This is PBS. He's back. All you had to do was ask. Super Mario Bros. 3 from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
Runaway. And Gene Hackman blackmails Chris Christopherson.
I'm clean, man. I quit dealing. You're gonna sell that stuff for me, you understand?
Cisco Pike. 5 edge-of-your-seat thrillers in August on Cinemax.
The Pump by Reebok.
Now available in kids size.
The Ultimate Warrior faces ravishing Rick Rude in the most grueling match in wrestling today, the Steel Cage match. Don't miss SummerSlam, exclusively on pay-per-view.
The following movie is rated PG.
Is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Just a couple of hours ago, ABC's Ted Koppel became the first Western journalist to arrive in Baghdad since the crisis began.
$225,000, and most importantly, his name will be inscribed on the Wanamaker Trophy.
Second youngest all-star starter ever. And he has a base hit. Back-to-back singles by Griffey and Griffey, and the Mariners are in business.
There are some 400 to 500 Americans here in Baghdad. I raised with him the question of whether, in fact, there were hostages. It is not a word that the Iraqis like to use, but the official conceded to me that even though all of the Americans, he said, are being well treated and well housed, and that they are in no immediate danger, nevertheless, they were not free to leave. He called them restrictees and made the point that their exit from Iraq is going to be restricted until this crisis is over.
What are you going to do, blow up Beirut?
Will their deadly crusade succeed?
You are hopelessly outnumbered.
Put it down, Captain.
Counter-Strike on USA, tonight at 9, 8 Central.
The next report I did was for my science class on the human body. Scored an A.
Good.
Look at this. I always wondered where my mandibula was.
Mm-hmm. For details on how you can own this...
Permasoft.
Alan's life could be over in a flash. Or it could be just beginning. This fall, catch The Flash on CBS.
The average price of gasoline has jumped more than 10 cents since July 20th. It's now about $1.28 a gallon. Oil prices also have climbed.
More movies, more choice. Next on Cinemax, one of the best of the decade from drive-in Saturday night. If it's a dirty job, there's only one man to do it.
Than ever, four-door Chevy S10 Blazer. Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The bigger than ever.
Because at this time of year, you can't hide inside a sweater.
It's the right beer now.
Because you know what to do when good times are on the line.
Anthony Perkins, Twin Peaks meets an Alex. I'm Dangerous Tonight, a USA world premiere movie. Tonight at 7, 6 Central.
A maniac.
Philly fanatic in the stands, trying to entertain their fans as their home team is getting bombarded 11-0. Doug Drabeck working on a no-hitter through 8.
McDonald's is proud to present When I Grow Up, I Want to Own a Restaurant.
What led me to become a chef was my love for food and my love for cooking that goes back to when I was a kid.
Enjoy extra sugar-free gum.
You get extra flavor, extra fun in extra sugar-free gum.
The long-lasting sugar-free gum is extra with NutraSweet.
CBS.
Saddam Hussein says he's ready to fight or to talk as his verbal battle with George Bush continues. And were several Britons and an American the first victims of Iraq's threatened roundup? In the country of Yemen, an Iraqi oil freighter unloads its cargo and reports that Iraq has mined vital ports and utilities in Kuwait. For continuous coverage and live updates of the crisis in the Gulf, turn to CNN.
It isn't easy being the first of anything, and Jackie Robinson could tell you about that probably better than anyone. But because of people like Jackie Robinson, the great Happy Chandler, and Frank Robinson, you know, all the barriers that were in baseball before are coming down, and we're all going forward. You know, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to play for a black manager, but I did. I never thought I would see a black elected president of the National League, but I did. And that makes me very proud. Because baseball has always been a leader in this area. And with Fay Vinson and the late Bart Giamatti, I know that these things will continue to grow, and I know that in the future, all the barriers will be broken down for not just blacks, but all the minorities, women included.
Offer better overall savings in AT&T, and we will put it in writing. So, you gonna switch to Sprint, or would you like me to repeat myself? Call Sprint now and switch.
In a scene unlike anything we have seen since this crisis began, Saddam Hussein took along an Iraqi television crew to visit a group of British citizens who he will not allow to leave the country.
Your presence here and in other places is meant to prevent the scourge of war. But we, for our part, we shall try to treat you in the same way as we treat Iraqis, the people of Iraq. Because you are not hostages here.
It was, to say the least, bizarre